That was not fun. There's kind of no other way to put it. Um, yeah, it was a rough game against a very good team. Knew they were going to be a good team. Knew that it was going to be a tough game for the Kraken to win. That being said, there was hints of things at the beginning of that one that I thought were looking pretty good for the Kraken. They were showing some good signs, much like the last time we played Calgary. Speed, like that was the answer. That's the way you get at them. Didn't really, you know, keep up with that through this game. It didn't seem to help them out in the long run, unfortunately. And then the penalties, just brutal, 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 brutal. Can't be taking penalties in some of the situations that they were taking penalties. And then go 0 for 5 on the power play again. We've talked about this so many times, but it's just this power play is just unwatchable. There's no other way to put it. It is unwatchable. Just watching guys there ready to take one-timer slap shots that everybody in the arena can see coming from, 10 miles away. Got to do something else. You got to be creative. I will give credit to Wenberg. He was the only guy I was seeing make passes to the bumper side or net front, trying to do something different. And you know what? Those were the best chances they had on any of their power plays, were the times when Wenberg was trying to get a little bit creative there. So definitely want to see more of that moving forward, because otherwise you're not going to get anything off this power play. You're just not, unfortunately. We'll go ahead and head over here into comments because I see Hunter echoing penalties, penalties, penalties there. Yeah, they crush you. The PK overall, for the most part, did a good job again. 1 for 4 for Calgary's power play. It's that's all right. You can survive that most games, assuming your power play does something. And then I guess the Trevor Lewis one kind of sort of counts off the delayed penalty, before the power play gets started. It's just, yeah, certainly when they were down 3-1, there was no reason for the Kraken to take, 2-3 third period penalties, down multiple goals. Like, you can't do that. You can't do that. And they weren't like earned penalties either. They were just kind of being sloppy. And so that's this kind of stuff that you got to clean up. I will say the second Susie one, that hooking call, I don't know that I would have called that. But some of the other ones were just kind of lazy sloppiness from the guys, and you just can't have that in a game that you're trying to fight your way back in. It's just the way it is. Michael, well, 1 out of 2 ain't bad for the day. Go M's, go Kraken. That's right. Mariners at least got the win. That's something. Tyler, drum roll. Ugh. I feel you, Tyler. I feel you, and I like the pizzazz you got going on for the this time. Appreciate that. Stratic, happy Ryan Donato's birthday to everyone. Yes, happy birthday to Ryan Donato. Happy birthday to the stage manager, as Forsland was saying. Happy birthday to both of them, and hope you enjoyed the pizza dinner, Stratic. I'm very, very jealous. Jealous enough that that's what I'm going to be doing as soon as we're done with the post-game live here. But I hope it was good. Joshua, way too many penalties the last few games. Yeah, so I was trying to find the tweet. I think, was it Emerald City Hockey that put it out? I think it was RJ who put it out about there being 14 penalties the last 3 games from the Kraken, which is a lot. That is an insane amount of penalties to be taking. And like I said, when they're all of like the hooking, tripping, interference variety, like you just can't be taking those penalties. Those are penalties that are avoidable. You know what I mean? Like yes, you're every so often you're going to get one, but they are largely avoidable. You do not need to hurt yourself that way, and you certainly don't need to do it in these games like tonight where you're down. You just can't. There's no other way. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. You just can't. Lindsay, well, that was a game. It was a game. It's another one. We checked off the calendar. I hate losing to the divisional opponents. I know at this point, the loss probably helps the Kraken more than it hurts them, but at the same time, it's just I at least want competitive games where I feel like the Kraken are in it. And through most of the first period, I felt that way. And yes, that's a killer goal to give up. That Trevor Lewis goal right there at the end of the period. That's a brutal one. But you know what? It's right there before the end of the period. You've got that whole intermission to work through it emotionally and come out strong for the next one. Now we've talked about that several times this year. The Kraken don't really have anybody on the team that can get the rest of the guys going that way. That is something that I think needs to be an off-season, focal point, whether it comes from the coaching staff or from somebody on the team. There are times where it is okay to kind of, you can work through stuff like that. Good teams find ways to work through stuff like that. Come out strong for the second period. The second period was one of the most boring periods of hockey I've ever seen. Like, just nothing seemed to happen. It was kind of brutal all the way around like that. And then into the third, it's just penalties. Like, as we're trying to get back in the game, it's just penalties. I guess in the third, we had those power play opportunities. You got 5-on-3 for a decent amount of time. You got another power play shortly after that. But again, nothing happens on these Kraken power plays. So they are, as hunters say, the bathroom break strikes again with this next comment. Muckleshoot bathroom break strikes again. Also, the special teams guy needs to go. Well, it's two special teams guys, both assistant coaches. One takes PK, one takes the power play. So, but it is brutal. And I know Ty is at the game and posted a video on Twitter when they were doing the, I start, you finish with the power play thing. And he did shout bathroom break because that's what these looked like. Like, they just really did. The fact that you're 5-on-3 for, I think it was over a minute, or at least about a minute, and it looks that bad. Like, you're not getting anything going. You're taking shots into guys. You know what I mean? Because they can just get right into the into your shooting lane because they know you're just teed up for a one-timer. There was just no creativity out there. There was no sense of urgency. Like, now's your chance. This is a momentum moment. You know what I mean? You can really seize the game if you want to. And there wasn't really that urgency from the Kraken, and that was disappointing. We've talked several times. We're okay with the losses as long as the effort level is there. And I felt like in the second and third, that effort level wasn't there, whether it be on power play or then when it came to taking penalties later, once you're already down. I just wanted to see a little bit more from them. I guess at the end of the day is my big takeaway from this game. Brian, Calgary is good, maybe better when we're always in the penalty box. It certainly doesn't hurt them. And they are a team that we cannot do the power kill against. Like, they were trying at times, but they are too good. They're too good. They're not going to let you get away with stuff like that. And so if that was what the Kraken were relying on, it's brutal. It's not going to happen against this Flames team, that's for sure. Michael, we see why the Flames are at the top of the Pacific. Only threat to Avs in the West, in my opinion. I think Calgary, I'd probably put Calgary as my top team in the West right now. I know for RJ it's still Vegas, so we'll get that in there for him, just because I know he really feels strongly about that. We both have questions about the Avalanche. The Avalanche are kind of gotten to that point where it's it's put up or shut up time for them, and I have coaching questions. This Calgary team, though, I mean, you cannot stop that top line. Gaudreau, Lindholm, Tkachuk, they are unstoppable. The rest of the team is built perfectly to kind of supplement around them. They're going to drive possession. They're going to make sure nothing happens out there. You've got depth scoring with guys like Toffoli, who's been playing well. Mangiapane's been scoring a lot. So you do have a little bit more going on than just the top line. And then the defense can just be so suffocating, and Markstrom's been so good in net. Oh my gosh, he's been so fantastic this year. Happy for him for that, because he's been through a lot in his career, the various places he's been. So happy to see that for him. But yeah, this Flames team is super legit. Even if they don't look very exciting and they're not destroying people in the regular season, this is a playoff hockey team. That's for sure. Stratic, the first two Mariners games have been crackerjack. Yeah, they seemed like it. I've just been seeing box scores. Unfortunately, I haven't seen any yet. I'm looking forward to when I'm up there, being able to watch them on TV and everything. I think I'm really excited for that. Lindsay, good to meet up with y'all before the game, but glad I didn't buy tickets for this one. Lol, Ty's curse continues. Feels so bad for Ty. It's so brutal. You know what? Remains such a good sport through it all. Really has, and so credit where credit's due for Ty for that. But it's been rough. But yes, I hope everybody had a fun time. I know everybody else who's not in the Seattle area, wishing they were there. I know I'm not alone in that, and just know, for those of you that couldn't make it, you're not alone either. It always seems like a fun time. Hunter, thank God the Mariners are playing. Boy, I know we're really transitioning from season to season now, aren't we? We still got 10 games left, 10 Kraken games left. But yes, it's going to be interesting. I have to assume local news coverage, it's just all Mariners now. Like, I don't know if they had really stuck with the Kraken that much anyway, but I got to think that everything is Mariners up there right now. There's probably not a lot of Kraken stuff going on, and I don't blame them. Joshua, the need for top-end talent and scoring ability are so noticeable against good defensive teams and top goalies. Yes, the fact that we do not have a player that we can count on to just go out there and do something is a big deal. We don't have one of those difference maker type guys. That is clearly going to be, something that Ron Francis is going to have to key in on in free agency. Obviously, we hope Matty Beniers can become that. I don't know that he's going to become that year one, or certainly not out of the gates. It's possible. Don't get me wrong. It's just usually that's not the case. So, yes, free agency. We've talked about the two big names. We saw one of them tonight, Johnny Gaudreau. I know he had a pretty bad game tonight, Johnny Gaudreau, but the bottom line is, as we're over here on our broadcast celebrating Jordan Eberle getting to 40 points, the Hockey Night in Canada broadcast is talking about Johnny Gaudreau being 1 point away from 100. You know what I mean? And the bottom line is there's a lot there. That's a big difference. And so we need guys like that can create offense, not just by scoring goals, although that would obviously be nice, but being creative out there, right? Like, think of what Johnny Hockey could do on our power play, just being a little bit more creative. Like I said, the only time the power play looked good tonight was when Wenberg was trying some different things. He wasn't just passing endlessly with the point, waiting for one of them to take a one-timer. You gotta be interesting out there, because if you're creative, then it's that much harder on the defense to react to it, because that's what they have to do. They have to react to it. They can't plan ahead. They can't try to get into a shooting lane if they don't know where the shooting lane is. So, I really want to see that kind of stuff. And then just the ability to, break through systematically other things. Like, we need some help there. Hunter, also, why were they showing Calgary fans' reaction to goals on the home broadcast? Is that weird to anyone else? I mean, it's one of those things where I feel like that happens, and they've been doing it throughout the year, and I kind of get it. Like, okay, if this team scores, you're gonna find the fan in the building. Obviously, we want that when Seattle's on the road. We want to see the Seattle fans there score. So for me, it's not too weird, especially earlier on in the game, and I feel like that's when they focused on doing it, was early on in the game, because at that point, all right, game's still in question, whatever. But yeah, I guess it could be weird. I'm trying to think. I don't know. It doesn't seem that off to me. But yeah, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't think the Ducks or the Kings broadcast do that down here. So everybody, go ahead and give your opinions. Do you think that's weird? Let us know. Stratic, I feel bad for Ty. As bad as the Kraken have been this year, his streak is undoubtedly supernatural. It is. There's something going on there. I see Ty down there in the comments. My bad. Dude, we all feel so bad for you. We really do, Ty. You don't deserve this at all. You've been such an awesome supporter of the team and of us, and such a big member of this community. You do not deserve this at all. I know you've been a good sport. 0-15. Oh, that is worse than I thought it was. 0-15. That's unbelievable. Sorry, I'm not like trying to rub salt in the wound, but like, that is there is something going on there, and I feel like we need to get you to as many Kraken games before the end of the year as possible, so that you can at least get one in the win column. It's oh, that is so brutal. I feel so bad for you, bud. All right, let's see. Another one from Stratic. Root Sports post game, apologizing for the Kraken's fruitless power play. Markstrom was great, but going 0 for 5 isn't acceptable. No, it's not, and it's just what it's been all year. Unfortunately, um, it is so bad. I'm surprised that they've let it go on like this without really trying to address it or making more comments about it. Like, I feel like this is the easy thing to just be like, have this be the narrative after every one of these games. It's just like, yeah, we couldn't get it done on special teams tonight, and just kind of ride that and then work on it in practice when people are there to see it, the reporters and stuff, so that they can report on it. Like, it's such an easy way of kind of handling the way the season has gone. But it was also one of those things that, like, this was a struggle from day one, and I don't know how you've just failed to address it for 72 games. That's the thing that's most worrisome. And it's like, if you were willing to do that for an entire season, are you willing to address it in the off season? If it means firing an assistant coach, are you guys up for that? Because if you've been trying multiple different things and none of it's working, then obviously you either need a bunch of new players, or you need new coaches in charge of it. Those, like, that's it. That's the only two options left, really, right? So, it's just been so bad so consistently all season long. I'm kind of at a loss about it at this point. It's just is what it is at this point. We use them as our bathroom breaks, and it's really unfortunate that that's caught on so much through so much of the fan base, right? Um, yeah, it's brutal. Nicole, taking penalties to show off our PK is only a good idea if we score shorties. Agreed, and it's probably only a good idea when you're not playing a top team like Calgary, because Calgary's going to deal with it. They're not going to let you get away with some of that stuff. They're too responsible. Markstrom's too good. Um, I it's just one of those things. Like, it's also, this should not be like what we're counting on for offense every game. Again, the fact that we're constantly hoping for PK so we could go into power kill mode and try to get a shorty with a defenseman joining this, 3-man rush on the PK. That is not like, that shouldn't be our recipe for success. I know it's exciting and they've had success with it, but like, going 0 for 5 on the power play should be a much bigger deal, and that should be so much more of a focus for us. It's just not, and it's an interesting thing. It's an interesting thing. Sorry, everybody. I'm trying not to be too much of a downer here either, but I think we all know what's up. Striatic, Gaudreau, and Forsberg at 3 times 15 each is the only answer. I'm telling you, let's do it. Let's do it. The Kraken can afford it. Just do it. Like, it's not going to make things worse. It is not going to make your scoring problem worse. It is not going to make the power play worse. That's for sure. Like, it would be impossible to do that, really. But you know what? Like, just go ahead, try it, make the big swing, throw Beniers into that mix, potentially throw a top pick from this year's draft into that mix, depending on who it is. Let's just go and get it done. And with the short term, you can afford to do that. Tyler, I like how the past few games Kuhlman has been getting in good shooting spots in front of the net. I agree with that. Kuhlman is a guy, I try to mention him every post game because I feel like he deserves it each post game. He plays with such energy and passion and speed. And how about that one-timer? Talk about something that we haven't really seen from the Kraken outside of the power play, right? One-timers. And that was the perfect thing. And I put out that tweet of, that's how you beat a good defensive team like Calgary. It's with the speed, but that doesn't just mean speed in transition or speed moving the puck around the offensive zone. It also means speed with your shots, right? There was that one opportunity where Alexiak took that pass as he was streaking down the slot, and I think he was a little off balance, and that's why he wouldn't have been able to just kind of one-time that puck. or at least rip it faster than he did, but he did hold on to it long enough for Markstrom to get into a position to kind of come out a little bit and challenge it and take away what Alexiak wanted to do. And all I could think of was the Kuhlman goal and the fact that Markstrom had no ability to set up. Like, as soon as his head is turned, because he's like tracking that puck, the shot is being taken. That's so much harder for a goaltender to stop. And so I was hoping we'd see more of that from the Kraken. We'd see some speed, moving the puck around, moving their bodies around in the offensive zone, passing the puck more, lots of quick passes, trying to open things up. And unfortunately, we only saw it the one time, but we saw how effective it can be that one time. And so I'd like to see the power play do that a little bit more, but not just, this endless, defenseman to this side or this side, one timer type thing. Like, that's not getting it done. Clearly, everybody knows what you're doing at this point. Yes, Valentina, the local news doesn't really follow the Kraken. I angry tweet about it all the time. Good for you, Valentina. Like I said, I understand, but at the same time, for a little while there, it was them and the Sounders. That was the only game in town. You think that's worthy of something? Certainly to help grow the sport and everything after what's been a rough year. That having that continual local news support is a big deal. Valentina, I don't even know how to describe the bottom of the third. Oof. Yeah, it was better left unsaid, I think. That is right. Absurdly saying we love Ty anyway. That is for sure. Ferris, Benier's college teammates have signed their contracts. Should we expect him to sign his within 2 days maybe? The answer is anytime. The expectation, I mean, it could have been like we were talking about Cale Makar's situation. The night he was eliminated, he signed with the Avalanche. The expectation is really whenever he wants to, it's there. Assuming the Kraken are on board with this, which it would be ridiculous if the Kraken weren't on board with this idea. But as far as I know, his teammate Brisson has not signed either, Brendan Brisson. And that one's really weird because he's even a year older. And he could go sign and kind of help the playoff push in Vegas and burn that year off his ELC. You got to think he would want to do that. I floated it last time, and I know nobody wants to hear this, but I just get this weird feeling with Beniers that maybe he doesn't want to. Maybe he just wants to kind of take it, easy, rest and recover after this college season and focus on that and learn the lessons from that season and not just throw himself into a chaotic environment for only 9 games, just to do it, or just to try to get that year burned off his ELC if he doesn't feel like he's going to be able to make the most of that opportunity. You know what I mean? If he's not going to be able to learn the lessons of what it is to be a pro and how to operate in that manner, because he's just going to be so frazzled or whatever. If he knows himself that well and that's what he's thinking, then I support him making that decision for him. Obviously, I want him here. I want him to get in those games. I think that he's a really smart guy who's going to be able to pick up a lot and learn a lot from just being around the team and being around the facility and being within the organization officially full time. I think there's a lot of lessons there to learn, and I think that he is someone who's 1,000% capable of learning them. Sometimes I get these vibes from people, and I just got the vibe that at least it wasn't going to be a right away thing for him. I still think there's a pretty good chance that he comes and he signs soon. He could sign, still tonight if we wanted to. I just got the feeling that it wasn't going to be like an Owen Power where he was just kind of counting down the days till he could jump ship and head on over there. So it's going to be interesting to see. And like I said, everybody blame me if that's what ends up happening. I'm totally down with that. I in that case, you can say I spoke it into existence. I'm totally fine with that. I know nobody wants to hear it. It's just my own thing. But yes, please dump on me. Take your anger out on me. I can handle it. I promise. Hunter Local News only covers teams if they're good. Lol. That's the way it is kind of everywhere, right? I come from LA, which is the ultimate people only show up for the winning team. The Dodgers, if they're not winning, nobody's there. The Lakers, if they're not winning, nobody's there. Nobody's there right now for the Lakers. This team is really bad. And these are franchises, some of the most expensive franchises in the world because of what their brand identity is and where they play and all that stuff. And they have some of the most rabid, fanatical fans I've ever seen. But the bottom line is, the team's not winning. Nobody cares. Nobody cares about them. Wherever it is, that's just the way it is for the most part. Brian, right you referring up to Nicole's comments, right you are. When scoring shorties is our actual thought and hope, we're in trouble. Thought the PK fought hard for being overtaxed tonight. Agree, Brian. Just agree with all of that. Ty pointing out, did get to hang out with RJ and friends though. Yes, I hope everybody had a good time. Hope you had a good time with that. Hope everybody was able to get some deep dive stickers and some pins if you haven't already. I'm excited to be able to go up there and get the deep dive stickers. I have some pins, thankfully, but I really want to get those stickers. Valentina, I like that the refs were calling more things. I just wish that they were calling things that actually happened. Yeah, it's the difference in officiating crews, right? In all sports, it's that way. Some crews are a little more ticky tacky, and they're gonna really try to call things all the time. Others are gonna let them play. Both have their merits. I did like seeing more things happen tonight. Being said, yes, there are times where it's just like I said, that second Susie one, that hooking call, there wasn't anything there really. Like, I don't know, I didn't get that one. That one I really didn't agree with. But it also means you get a sense for that early on, and I feel like that was there earlier on in this game, that the refs were going to call this stuff. You were seeing that they were calling this stuff on Calgary. They were going to call it on you in the first period. You got to then adjust, and you have to know then, okay, I'm not going to be able to get away with iffy stuff. I'm not going to be able to get away with a sloppy whatever, right? Because I thought, the Toffoli trip on Donato that made it 5-on-3 was kind of iffy too. Like, yes, technically his stick makes contact and Donato goes down, but it wasn't like the most egregious thing. Like, there are reffing crews out there that are going to let that go, especially if it's already 5-on-4. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. You have to kind of recognize that as a team early on and adjust to it and try to take advantage of it. That's when you got to go full Ryan Donato and make your power moves go into the net. Because if they're going to have to take you down in any sort of way, cross-check you, hook you, trip you, then this reffing crew is going to call the penalty. You got to be aware of that. You got to know that you have to play, very conservative, but you got to put the other team in a position where they're going to have to do some iffy things, knowing that this reffing crew is going to call it. So I would have liked to see the Kraken maybe try to put themselves in better positions to receive those calls rather than be on the wrong side of them. Glad to see Ty's taking it all in stride there. Hunter, fun differential, am I right, Ty? Jeez. Joey, we need lots of scoring help for next season. I think it's weird showing road team goal reactions en route. All right, so there's another one for the it being a little weird there. Appreciate you getting involved in answering the question there for us, Joey. RJ is ready for us, so I'm going to go ahead and jump over there. That was quick. That was quick. Let's all find out what that means from a media availability standpoint, because we're not even at the 30-minute mark of the stream, so that is exceptionally fast for RJ to be ready to join us. But it means we get more RJ, so I'm okay with that. All right, be just a sec, everybody.
Pressure.
All right. Hey, RJ, how's it going?
Going well. How you doing?
We all saw that game.
Yeah, we sure did. Oh yeah, we got Scott Brennan from Cheap Seat Sports here stopping by. Let's go say hi to Scott, everyone. I'm sure you all know him.
Yeah. Hey, Scott, how's it going?
Hi, Scott. We'll get that the R&R going here. It'll be fun.
Yep, a little earlier so we can get started recording it a little bit earlier.
Watch some F1
nice.
at 10.
Oh yeah.
Australian Grand Prix. Watch Danny Rick not do well at home. You never know.
Uh, well, glad everybody's
How's the mood of chat, Dylan?
what?
How's the mood of chat, Dylan?
Everybody's just like, it is what it is. We all feel bad for Ty. 0-15 now,
Yep.
officially.
Oh, that's right. He is 0-15.
Yeah.
That is rough.
So that's rough. Here's a question you could ask everybody there. Is it weird that Root shows opposing fan reactions to goals when they score them?
Interesting. No, actually, no, because I remember that from some of the Sharks broadcasts growing up, where you would show them that. Yeah,
Okay.
I think I remember that on other broadcasts. No, it's not weird.
Okay. Because some people think it's weird. I didn't
my
think it
effort.
was weird, but also like the Ducks and the Kings don't do that. So
Right.
just- that was
Yeah,
one of
no,
the things. This is what we're
Yeah.
this is what we're
we got so many potential guests here tonight. You guys hopefully Ryan Clark was just standing there on the other side of the camera this whole time. I'm like, come on here, Ryan. He's like, he's like, I'm gonna stand here and heckle the whole time.
all right.
And then he left. So
No, we were just trying to focus on anything other than the 0 for 5 on the power play.
oh yeah, I think you guys will be interested to hear what Haxtell had to say about the power play.
Please do, because we were talking about that. I was saying this should be like the only narrative talked about the rest of the season is special teams. And boy, you got out of media availability pretty quick today.
Okay, well here's the thing. We asked about it, and he gave a glowing review. He said we did some real good things. I liked what the power plays. We executed well. I mean, he had nothing but good things to say about the power plays. Aside from the fact that we didn't finish, aside from the fact we didn't put one in, I thought it was great what we did. He just kind of added that, well, Markstrom was the difference in the game, and that's what did it. But no, he had glowing reviews of the power play. Yeah, you can go back and watch the media availability. He had good things to say about it.
Wow. Like the only good
So
thing
I figured you guys would be interested in that.
Yeah, the only good thing I had to say about it was Wenberg tried a couple different things tonight. He was trying to be creative, pass to the bumper spot, pass to the front of the net, and those were the only time the power play looked dangerous in any way whatsoever. Because this endless passing back and forth between the point and the two sides for these guys lined up to take one-timers that the opposing team is already in the shooting lane before the pass is even like started because everyone knows what's coming. It's unbelievably, horrifically bad.
Yes, I mean it was very predictable, but some of the later power plays, I will say, at the very end, like of the last one, the second half of it, they did really well. Or was it the last one, second to last one? Anyway, they got some good chances there, and Haxtell mentioned like it got better as the game went on, and I will give him that.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to ignore where that starting point was, especially the 5-on-3, which was crucial. You needed to score there, and they just could not get it done. I mean, you got a couple McCann one-timer chances, but it was all really predictable. They just haven't had that killer instinct on the 5-on-3. Really, this season, it's been rough for them. But he had great things to say about the power play.
Yeah, see, that's so disappointing to hear. The only reason those late ones were good was because they were in desperation mode. Like it was the only time
it was
that
good
they
to
had
at least
a fire.
see some urgency. Right. I mean, it was good to see some urgency, but you'd like to see that a little bit earlier, I would say.
Yeah, just a little.
So I sent the tweet out basically giving Haxtell's quote on the power play and then headed right up here. So I haven't seen any of the responses to it, but I'm sure there will be plenty when I go check Twitter next.
They're not gonna be too happy, I would imagine. It's also frustrating because it's like it's not like this is like some sort of recent thing. It's like no, this has been a problem for 72 games.
Yeah, no, this is not a recent phenomenon.
Wow. All right, here we go. There you go, everybody. There's your
enjoy.
answer on all that. Sorry.
That's why you have me go to the media availabilities. You never know.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Let's get back here. I'm hitting all the everybody feeling bad for Ty. Joshua though, bringing up. We all feel bad for Ty, but 0-15. At what point do we start considering a ban?
Well, not at all this season. Shane Wright, man.
Yeah. Lindsay, imagine if the Kraken won all 15 games that Ty attended. We would have 82 points in the standings and be battling with Vegas for a wild card spot. Oh my god. Can you imagine?
That is the difference.
That is the difference. Wow. Oh man. It's just so wild. Valentina, on the delayed penalty in the third, I swear I saw the puck bounce off the helmet of one of our guys. How is that not a touch? They didn't blow it. Makes me wonder if it happened, or helmets don't count. You need possession.
Yeah, it's possession, not a touch.
Yeah.
So it's hard to possess the puck with your helmet.
Yeah, that being said, you can score with your helmet legally, so, maybe there's room for debate there. Hunter, what I fear is management doesn't have the cojones to fire Hackstall. The question is, do they have him to fire an assistant? Because that's the bottom line is special teams, especially the power play, like, you have to do something. Something has to be done, because they're clearly not going to do it themselves. It's been 72 games.
Yeah, and I'm almost willing to. I mean, we'll see how the season closes up. I'm almost willing to let the PK off the hook at this point, just given how improved they've been and how they've committed to this aggressive style, and especially with all the changing player personnel coming in and out. I have been really impressed by that. But the power play, just consistently all season, has been lackluster.
Yeah, there needs to be something done there. Absurdly Sane, we could deploy Ty as a false flag operator, buy him some opposing team jerseys, and see if his presence hexes them. It's not a bad idea. We could maybe look into that for next season or something. Stratic, I feel like the Kraken should do something for any fan that can prove they've never witnessed a win this year in 10 plus games attended. Maybe a commemorative die-cast tank in Kraken livery. Yes, it's crazy. Deserves something for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, RJ. This is from Joey. Why are we so undisciplined? We get so many penalties.
Yeah, discipline has absolutely been an issue, and yeah, the Kraken. I think what is that, 14 or 15 penalties they've taken? I forget if they took another one after I tweeted that over the last 3 games. It's not good. No, discipline is definitely a problem. And a lot of those are unnecessary ones too. I mean, you look at the eye test. I think, what was it? Carson Soucy had, I think, 12 penalty minutes over those 3 games.
I was going to say,
he's all minors or the double minor. He has certainly been an offender there. Will Borgen has been getting in on it as well. It just can't happen, especially when you play against good teams like Calgary or St. Louis. You put them on the power play enough times, they're going to make you pay, or it's going to limit your opportunities to get things going yourself.
Yeah, and to wait and kind of save it all up for the third period of a game where you're down by 2 against a top team in this league. Like, it's an interesting choice to decide to get sloppy, because that's really what it is. These aren't penalties born out of frustration as much as they're just kind of sloppy.
Yeah, they are.
Lazy plays.
Yep. Which was it, Calgary's first or second that was scored on the delayed penalty?
Their second. It was the Trevor Lewis goal.
Yeah, and that one was one that Hackstall mentioned, and I think we all kind of realized was a turning point in the game. And he kind of highlighted that. We asked him about it, and he said, "What did he say?" He said, that goal slapped us." I think he said, and then they weren't quite right for a little while after that, as we saw. And then he mentioned, the first 10 minutes, the next period, the Flames were in control. But he's like, you just can't give up that goal, and another results of a penalty in the bonus time.
Yeah, no, but that one was one where, and I brought this up earlier, it didn't need to slap them. Like, let it slap you for the last 28 seconds. Then you got 15 minutes to figure something out, get yourselves back together, compose yourselves, get over the shock of it all. Like, we've talked about that earlier in the season. Intermissions are a great time to stop bad momentum and come out and try something else. And this team never finds a way to do that. And that's, that is in part on Hackstall and the coaching staff, because they're one of the 2 things that can get that going.
Right. I mean, again, like you said, let it slap you, but you can come back from that. A slap isn't the end of the world. You can gain your composure, trying not to make it Oscar's joke, but you can do it. It's it's there. I don't know.
Yep. It's just frustrating. That's one of those things that I want to see change next year too. That and the power play. Fix those 2 things, and you got your 15 wins there. Like, I really believe that.
Yep.
Joey, please sign Maddie now. Yeah, we were just talking about that too.
Oh yeah, by the way, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah.
No, I did not even hear his name mentioned in the press box.
Yeah, no, I figured you'd be like screaming from the tops of all of the buildings. The Space Needle. Just be like, any news,
if I heard anything. But nothing for you. Sorry, guys.
Yep. Stratic, not burning a year off the ELC is throwing millions of dollars away. His call, but kind of wild. Yeah, it
Yep.
is. I get that. I understand that.
Oh, I should have offered to have Ryan like break the Matty Beniers signing like right here when he was right by the camera.
Oh yeah.
Like, you must know something. Come
You
on.
have to. You always know something. Lindsay, if we sign Maddie before next Saturday, I'm going to find tickets to the Devils game. Yeah, I mean, if we could get
Do
it
it.
done,
Yeah.
I would do it. Valentina, aren't we burning a year off Beniers because of when his birthday is anyway? That's only if he actually signs and plays in a game. Now, he doesn't need to do the
he's
whole
gotta
like
sign,
more
he's gotta
than
play.
yeah, he doesn't have to do the whole more than 9 games thing, the 10 games played because of his birthday, but he does have to sign and play for that to happen. Valentina, one night the local news did 3 minutes of the sports segment on how we might get professional cricket. The Kraken won that day, but not a word. Angry tweets. Yeah, we're talking about the local news coverage of the team too. That one's something. Lindsay, Hackstall ended the media availability early when he saw RJ was there because he got scared.
No, I wish I carried that kind of power, but no.
Let's see. Talks of the crossover episodes. Scott, love the way those end boards shake at CPA. Reminds me of Dallas. They do get some good wiggle to them, don't they?
They do, and actually, I can't believe I missed it happen live. I just saw the aftermath. But apparently one of the goal lights on the stanchions fell down. I don't know if the broadcast caught that.
No.
But yeah,
I
it fell
saw
down.
on
It
Twitter.
almost hit someone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Some Scott. Scott's the man from Gregory there. Valentina, Scott, I put some of your videos in the Hockey University I did for my work. Thanks. Awesome. Some love for Scott here. Hunter, WTF is Hackstall talking about?
Oh, here are we getting to the
Here we
comments
go.
from
Yeah,
when I was talking about the presser? Yes.
Valentina, Hackstall with the big lie. Nicole, did he watch the same game we did? Lol. Glowing reviews of our power play, huh? I want what he's smoking. Tyler, Hackstall needs to be fired based on his power play comments alone. So
There we go.
There we go.
I knew you guys wouldn't disappoint.
That's the nice run of comments there. Wow, I'm right there with all of you. Let's see. Talking about getting Beniers on the ice. From Valentina there. David, it's weird to see daylight behind RJ. It is weird. Feels like
I know.
you have practice.
I was just thinking that as I was setting up. Yep.
Lindsay getting in on it. How can Hack be so out of touch on this? Does the game really look that different from behind the bench? Yikes. I think it's one of those things, when you're watching all the replays and everything down on those little monitors down by your feet, it's hard to see detail. You're already watching on a little screen. You're then keeping it, 5, however tall he is. He's a little bit taller than me.
Yep.
Let's say 5'10", 5 feet 10 inches away from your face. That's, it's hard.
And sometimes he will say, like from the bench, it's hard to see. Like, I'll watch it on film and I'll get back to you guys on certain things. Maybe this one would have been a good one to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe next practice I'd be like, okay, like you've no doubt watched this on film. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Are you sure it was good?
I know. I'm like trying to think of when I'm up there, is there any good way of asking the question of, do you think the power play is too predictable, just trying to set up these endless one-timers where the other team is in that shooting lane before the pass is even there? But there's just no good easy way of asking that isn't gonna land me in some hot water. So
I know I've been trying to think of that myself, but I haven't come up with a way that works. Maybe when we're together in person, we can figure something out.
Yeah.
We need to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah. Joey, they won't get rid of Hackstall next season if he's comfortable making comments like that after a 4-1 loss. Then he feels safe in his safety as Kraken head coach. I agree with that, Joey.
Yep.
That is for sure. Those are comments from somebody who feels very secure in their job. Cracking me up. So let me get this straight. Hack will throw a player under the bus, but not his assistant coaches. Wrong. Just wrong. Guess so.
Yeah, I mean, shouldn't be throwing anyone under the bus.
No, but yeah, it's. I mean, I will say that is something that's always been weird to me about hockey. Whenever you watch any of the behind the scenes shows and stuff, right? Even during the playoffs is really when it's wild to me. Everybody goes back to the locker room for intermission. Coaches go to a separate room. They're all sitting there. They'll watch like whatever highlights or whatever, and they'll talk about what they want to do. The players are all just resting and maybe talking amongst themselves about what they want to do. And then like maybe sometimes you'll get the head coach coming into the locker room and being like, okay, we got to, do X, Y, or Z for this period or whatever. But like not all the time. like
Yep.
I don't understand this like weird gotta keep them separated thing because it doesn't make sense to me like at all. But it's hockey.
Yep, sure is.
Whatever. Hunter, that comment just makes me want him gone even more. It's never ending now. Strayatic, we just aren't getting the bounces on the power play talking point is so old now. The gag's got whiskers on it. I like that, Strayatic. Like the colorful language there. It's true though. It's true. It's just no, you can't say that after 72 games of it. When we were talking about this in October, like this was like, wait, when's the power play gonna get going?
But Markstrom's so tall, Dylan.
He is, and for the 3 or 4
I forget who it was
games?
that mentioned his height. It was either Haxel or Kuhlman who mentioned Markstrom's height. But
oh, so the one guy who
a
scored.
lot of talk about him.
The one guy who scored.
Yeah, no, it was definitely a lot of praise for Jacob Markstrom, for sure.
I mean, he's good, but like you've only played him 3 or 4 times now. It's a lot of sample size where he wasn't there. Just saying.
Yep.
Hockey Mom, how's it going? I like the Pride Night towel design. I hope you grabbed one. I saw you put one out on Twitter, a picture of it. I'm assuming you got one.
Yes, I did. I did get one. Trying to find it here without knocking over the camera. Okay, actually, no, I'm not going to risk that.
Okay, don't risk it. But it's on Twitter. It does look amazing. It looks really, really awesome.
It does.
And I hope everybody had a good time with all that stuff. The warm-up jerseys were fantastic. I know they were selling shirts and hats and beanies and stuff with the same design in the store. So hoping everybody was able to get those. Hope they had enough for everybody that wanted one.
Daniel Sprong was even rocking one of the beanies during warm-ups. It's the first time I think I remember seeing a player wear a beanie during warm-ups.
Yeah, I felt like I've seen it once before, but I can't like exactly.
Maybe for one of the outdoor games.
Yeah, that's probably where. So. All right, here we go. We got cheap seats in the chat here. Valentina, that's awesome.
Whoa,
I'll
nice.
be doing more 101s in the off season. Cool. And Kraken PK scores more than the power play. It's all planned. Taking that many penalties, conspiracy theory. I mean, it feels like that right now. Like their plan is like, well, if we just take a penalty, we can get the PK out there, and we can try to get something going. Like that's their answer to get something going. Is just let's try to get a shorty.
Yeah, I mean.
That's super easy thing to do.
I mean, they've made it look easy at times, but really it isn't. You don't want to rely on it.
No, you don't. Scott asking, I guess Donskoy is in the doghouse. The guy makes almost $4 million on the 4th line. I mean, part of that has to do with the fact that he's only scored 2 goals this year.
Yeah, I think certainly the second half of the season, his play has warranted that.
Yeah. And yeah, the contract's not great. For what he's been giving, unfortunately. Valentina, but he's a playmaker with high hockey IQ who is great on special teams. That is true. He was, he was helpful. The few times the power play looked good, he was, one of the guys out there helping that out. And he's been consistent on the PK all season long.
Yep.
Yeah, and Valentina, I tweeted pics of the efforts to repair the goal lights. They couldn't get them back up. I've never heard of that either. Like
I know, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I'm sure it's happened, but I can't imagine it happens very often these days.
Yep.
Marky, details like the score, minor stuff. Yeah, details. Aaron, was there in person tonight? Power play was dreadful, no creativity, and Calgary just pressured the Kraken into easy turnovers. That's what I'm saying. It's just predictable and everyone knows what it's going to be at this point.
Yep. I
know.
I don't know what to tell you.
I know there's almost nothing left that could be said about it at all. I know. Talbot pointing out, Ty pointing out Talbot wore a beanie. Yes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yep. Yeah. Ugh. Rough night, RJ. We'll do a quick last call here on comments. We're at the bottom, but just one of those games.
Yeah, I mean, it sure was. as quick as the media availability was, tells you everything too. I mean, like there were kind of, just lack of real answers. And I mean, they're trying, but it's just like, what more can you say? I feel like, we have these games now, given where this team is and what they are, that
Hmm.
when you're playing against a really talented team like Calgary or St. Louis, like those teams are no slouch as opponents.
No, they're
They
not.
just don't have, you make any error and that's it. There's no margin for error given what the Kraken are. And it's tough going into those games. Like I said before this game that I felt going into this one the way I did going into the St. Louis game. Like, yeah, I mean, there's an outside chance, but just given the talent discrepancy, you need to be good in one of those areas like the
Hmm.
power play or, have incredible goaltending, something that's going to flip the game on its head. And I just don't think the Kraken are at that point right now.
No, I don't think that they are either. And so it's just going to be one of those things, get Beniers in there, maybe get, if you do get lucky and get to draft Shane Wright, bring him in, and then obviously whoever they get to target in free agency with all that cap space. It's just we really are
Yeah.
just on watch for that stuff now, unfortunately.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Uh,
By the way, speaking of being on watch for that, what'd you think of Johnny Gaudreau tonight?
I've seen him be better.
I thought he was quite bad.
Yeah.
I mean, the advanced numbers, tell that story, and then also just the eye test. I mean, he had what I think 34% something expected goal share, which was the lowest on the Flames of
Yeah.
anyone. He did not stand out to me at all, except when he took that delay a game penalty at the end of the game.
Yeah.
So not the best audition there, but
No.
I was just curious what your thoughts were.
No, yeah, no, I've like I said, certainly seen him be better. That being said, you at least feel like any time he's out there or he's got the puck on his stick, like he could make something happen. And we have nobody that I feel remotely like that with at the
Yeah,
moment.
that's true.
So it's one of those, like, I would take an off night like this. Like the Root broadcast was making a huge deal about Jordan Eberle getting to 40 points. And on the flip side, the Hockey Night in Canada one was just talking about, like, oh, does Johnny get to 100 tonight? And it's like, at the end of the day, like, yeah, there's
a difference there.
There's a difference. All right, so we got some comments here. Kitty B. Kraken. I heard the ECH graphic designer responsible for the loading RJ and RJ Pong was in attendance at tonight's game. Is he back there behind RJ's camera in the peanut gallery?
You are correct in your intel there. Yes, he was in attendance at this game tonight. No, he's not around here. Sorry about that. But yes, he was there at the game. I think he had a good time.
Yeah. Valentina, 30 watching, 21 likes. We can do better, chat. Already up to 23 likes. So helping us out, Valentina. Appreciate it. Tyler, of all the players the Kraken traded, which one do you miss in the lineup the most? Let's see. We got some Blackwell in the chat. Including from Hockey Mom, misses sliding on the ice. Let's see. You don't miss Lauzon? Valentina misses Lauzon, doesn't care who doesn't like it. There you go, Valentina. You gotta stick up with that. I think Blackwell's probably still the one that I miss the most.
That's my answer. Yeah, Colin Blackwell. I do miss him. The other guys have stepped up, filled those spots really well. Blackwell, I still think they're just missing that energy.
Yeah. Scott, I've just come to the realization that the anchor shoulder patch represents the Space Needle. Yeah. I love that they worked that
on top of it.
Yeah, I love that they worked that in there. Lindsay, night all, great meeting a few of you at the Armory. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Let's hope Beniers will save us soon. Night, Lindsay. Hunter, I'm exhausted with this team at the moment. I'll be looking forward to draft and free agency. Also, go Mariners. Yes, everybody's already kind of making that transition. Understandable. Understandable. Yeah. Chris bringing up Fiala from Minnesota UFA would be good. What do you think of him? I don't know that he helps what the Kraken need right now, totally, but
I know I don't know about the fit. As far as like a game-breaking finisher. But I mean, it could be worth looking into, especially if he gets lost behind some of the other names, if you can get a good deal there.
I was going to say, there's lots of guys like that I feel like are going to get lost in the shuffle this year. I've brought him up before. Vincent Trocheck, like, fantastic depth centerman. Kraken already have way too many of them. Like, he doesn't help us at all, but, like, he's a great player, and I would love to have him. You know what I mean? And I think Fiala's kind of in that same boat with me. It's just, I don't know that he fixes too much here, unfortunately for us. Does anybody know if Lauzon is related to Canadian figure skater of the same name? I do not. I guess
I don't know.
Check out his Wikipedia page and see.
That might tell you.
That's the only. That's all I've got, unfortunately. Let's see. People asking if he's been okay in Nashville. Probably. Nashville just immediately makes all defensemen good. It's just what they do. Valentina, what's up with McCann only
twice?
Yeah. What's up with McCann only scoring once since he got signed? Extra pressure? It should have taken all the pressure off.
Yep.
It's all about the contract year. You gotta contract.
I was gonna say Gaudreau's gonna have a 100-point season in the contract year.
Yep.
Maybe there's a pattern there.
Yeah, I don't know. This is quite a long list we could point to in all sports. Don't know if it's been brought up already, but anyone else nervous that Beniers hasn't signed yet? We did talk about that earlier, Aaron. Yeah, I think everybody is. Everybody's just like, all right, it can happen now. Especially after the game tonight. It's like, all right, it can happen now. Varys letting us know Denver just won the championship. So awesome. Cole Gutman, way to go. Happy for you, bud.
Yeah, good for them. There you go. Your boy captaining a team to the NCAA championship. How cool is that?
I was right. Way back in 2014, I was right. It's always good when you can get some validation, 8 years after the fact, right?
Hey, don't get into scouting if you're not about that.
Exactly. I feel like that's just the job. Better late than never when it comes to that kind of stuff. Stratic, I think I saw a clip where Lauzon fought someone and Nashville fans went crazy. That's about all I know about his performance there, so kind of echoing what you had to say. And then
exactly.
And then Kitty B. Kraken, we'll make this one the last one here. Do we really have a chance to grab Gaudreau in free agency? We're going to have money. We've got a chance.
Yep. Exactly. I mean, Gaudreau, he still hasn't signed an extension in Calgary. So if that continues onwards to July, he'll be a free agent, and the Kraken absolutely have the money to do it. So, it's just a matter of whether he wants to come and for how much and whether it works for both sides.
Yeah. So, I got to think the fact that there hasn't been an extension there means he's going to be testing free agency. I think Forsberg maybe could still re-sign in Nashville. Like I think that one is more likely than Gaudreau, personally.
Agreed.
Again, just the vibes I get. We don't want these vibes to be right, especially the Beniers one, but it's just my feelings. All right, everybody. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for this one. I know it was kind of a rough game, but still, 27 of you with us here with all 27 likes. Appreciate that. 80 people have stopped by at one point or another tonight. That's really awesome. Thanks for joining us, RJ. As always, awesome to see the sun setting behind you. It's really cool. And
I love it.
Yeah, that's just kind of going to do it for this one. I think it's it's better to put this one in the rearview mirror than linger on it too much.
Yeah, don't want to think about the Flames game for too long, but right back at it against that
team. Yeah, it's more like, let's just not think about the power play, and then let's really not think about the comments made about said power play after the fact either.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
No. And sorry to bring that up right at the end, everybody. Just remember, I was right about Cole Gutman 8 years ago. There we go. We can end on a positive note.
There you go. Close it with that.
There you go. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you all next time.